Hello everyone, my name is Justin and welcome back to the Hotel Let's Build on my channel. This has been a successful, semi-successful series on the channel. Okay, today we are, why am I lagging so bad? I can't. Today we are going to obviously continue building this, but this is irritating me while I'm lagging. I don't know why it is. So today we are going to talk about my 2015, oh my freaking gosh. Today we're going to talk about my 2015-2016 NHL power rankings, how I think the teams are going to do. This is going to be a two-part video. Today we are doing number 30 through 16. I hope we can build quite a bit while we're doing this too. But so number 30 was a hard one to choose, okay? Because some team has to be last in the league, and it's just hard to choose sometimes. Well, I figured, oh my god, I can't deal with this lag. Maybe I need to update my Java because I have one available, it says, but I don't. So it's hard to pick who's going to be the worst team in the league. I was stuck between Carolina and New Jersey, but I think the worst team in the league this year is going to be New Jersey. Okay, I'm sorry if you're a New Jersey fan, but you guys are going through a rebuild. Okay, and it's not gonna be like a quick fix scenario down there in Jersey. Okay, so they didn't do a whole lot this off season to help them out, but they got rid of dead weight. So their MVP this year will be Corey Schneider. I think he'll probably be top 5 goalies in the NHL. Maybe he could win his first Vezina, but probably not with how many losses he'll have because his team doesn't help him out, okay? But I expect him to have a good year. My underachiever of the season, person who's not going to do as expected, as much as it hates me to say this, Patrick Elias. His game's been deteriorating. Only 49 points last year, and 39 points last year, and I think it was 70 games or something. He's just slowly getting lower, and I think this year he's going to struggle to find 35 points. I mean, it's amazing. He's played a long career. He's a very respectable player, but it's getting towards retirement. I could see him retiring after this season. Their key addition this offseason was Cal Palmieri. It's not going to make a big difference because the team needs offense, and yes, he's a good young player, but he's not ready to like take the team the next step at this point. Okay. Their key loss, I mean, they didn't lose anyone that that's going to hurt their team because they lost, okay? Captain Bryce Salvador missed pretty much the whole season. He retired. They lost Martin Havlat. He didn't do much this year. They lost Zubris. He didn't do much this year. Scott Gomez is an interesting one. I thought maybe they'd bring him back for a year. Okay. He had 0.6 points per game, which was his highest total in years. I have it written down. He had 34 points in 58 games for the 35-year-old. That's not bad. Okay. But they decided to get rid of him, and they didn't think he was worth it. And yeah, so I don't see them getting better than 29, 28, but I'm projecting 30. Okay, we need to move fast here. Number 29. is obviously going to be Carolina. Okay, I like what they're doing in Carolina. They're trying to build up here. They have a lot of defensive prospects. They drafted Noah Hannafin. And they have a bunch of guys. They have Hayden Fleury, you know. So they have some talent coming up, which is good news. Their offense, I mean, it's going to be decent, I think. I don't think their offense will be bad. It's just the depth isn't quite there, okay? And their defensive depth isn't quite there. I don't know. Hannafin might get a chance to start next year. But my MVP for them, I think, will be Justin Falk. He had a great year this year, and I'm hoping to have another one next to their key addition, who is James Wisniewski. Okay, he'll help their power play out. He'll make them a better defensive team. I mean, he helps their defense, but he doesn't make their defense. Okay, if anything, he probably shouldn't be a top pairing on a good team, but on a bad team like Carolina, he is going to be their top pairing guy. As far as a sleeper, Jeff Skinner. Okay, this kid started off his career good. He's 23, but last year just wasn't a very good year for him. Okay, and I don't think this one will be either, because if you want a guy like him to get better, you have to be on a winning team, or not necessarily winning, but a team that's not going to be 29th in the league. So I can't see him growing to be a #1. I think he'll be a second line winger his whole career. So they're just not ready there. The Jordan Stahl, if he can stay healthy, that's great for him, but his point production isn't up top lately. They lost Alexander Semin, but he wasn't a fit with the new coach. So, you know, I like what they're doing. They're going to be a good defensive team in the future, but 29 next year. Number 28 is going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs. They added a lot of good depth this offseason. Okay, just something maybe they lacked last year, but their top 6 this year now is going to suffer. Okay, because I mean, let's talk about the obvious thing is the Phil Kessel trade. First of all, they had to retain salary. Yes, they did get some nice prospects. I think their key addition is Kasperi Kapanen. He's going to be a good player one day, playing alongside of Mitch Marner in the future. And, you know, I think they'll be a good squad in the near future. Nylander, okay. Their defense this year is iffy at best, okay. They do have Morgan Riley and Jake Gardner, who are young, but, you know, they don't make the defense. Their offense, like I said, no top 6. They added some good people. P.A. Parenteau. They had a Mark Arcobello, Nick Spaulding in that trade. So they got some good depth guys, but their top 6 is going to lack. Their MVP, it's hard to say. Probably JVR. He won't be as good as he's been in the past without Kessel, but who's going to honestly do better than him? Kadri, Lupul? I don't know. I just don't see them being a very good team this year, unfortunately. Number 27, I have the Arizona Coyotes. Okay, I don't understand the moves they made this offseason, picking up Zbigniew McCulloch and Antoine Vermette after they traded them away. Yes, I realize they got draft picks from it, but the whole point of draft picks is to grow your team, get a young team going, and have them grow into a good team, not sign a bunch of old guys when you know you're not going to make the playoffs. There's no way they make the playoffs, even with Vermette and McCulloch back on the team. Okay, so I don't understand that move. They could get better draft picks next year if they didn't sign those guys. The MVP, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, the player who's not going to live up to standards next season. I'm going to have to say, ooh, it's hard to say. I'm going to have to say Antoine Vermette. Okay. Yes, he won a cup, but he wasn't super effective in Chicago. He played good in the playoffs, but I don't see him being as good as he's been in the past for Arizona. Number 26 on the list is the Philadelphia Flyers. You're not a bad team, okay, but I can't put them any higher on this list based on other teams. I mean, they could get all the way up to like 20, okay, but I'm putting it in a safe spot here because I have some questions about them. Obviously, the defense is lacking. Okay, they have Mark Streit, who's like 100 years old. Del Zotto had a good year, but can he do that again? Okay, you have Steve Mason and Neuwirth. Who's going to win the starting job? I mean, everyone thinks it's going to be Mason, but Michael Neuwirth could go in there and just take it away from him. Okay? Their defense in the future is going to be, like, amazing, right? They have Sandham. They have Ghost. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Ghost to Sabir. They have Provorov that they drafted this year. They have a lot of good defensive prospects. They'll be a great defensive team in the near future. In like 3-4 years, okay. Their offense this year, I mean, they kept LeCavalier and Umberger, which isn't very good. They're just cap eaters. I think they should have bought out one of them, maybe not both. Okay. You also have who's going to play left wing on that top line. You have Raffle. Okay, he's average at best. I don't think he's a top liner. Some other questions are, can Couturier and Shen take the next step on offense? Okay, I mean, they had decent years, but they need to really jump up this year. Another question is, that's actually all the questions I have. They added Sam Gagner, which is another huge contract. As far as people they lost, no one's super significant at all. Alright, so good for them. Number 25 on the list. Vancouver. Oh, I'm going to have a lot of raging Vancouver fans. A lot of raging Vancouver fans yelling at me, okay? But I can't see Vancouver making the playoffs or coming that close to it. This year, they had a great year last year. I think they were second in the Pacific. Okay, but I just don't think they will be this year. Reasons for, they get rid of Zach Cassian, who I understand wasn't maybe as good as they were hoping, but he was still young. For Prost, who is not, in my opinion, I'd rather have Cassian than Prost, okay? And then they get rid of Kevin Biesca for Matt Bartkowski, who is not as good as Biesca, so there's a downgrade on defense. Okay, you have Ryan Miller, who at the end of last season he played one game and let in a lot of goals. He had an injury. Can he be consistent at his age? You can't rely on Markstrom to go in if he's not, like they did on Eddie Lack. They lost Eddie Lack. He was good for them. Oh, there's the fire pager. Woohoo! Beep boop. Wait for it to stop beeping so I can talk. But you have that question. The Sedins, both a year older. How effective are they going to be on offense? Verbala, Burrows are both getting older. They lost Sean Matthias, but was he? I mean, was he a huge part? Probably, maybe not. But you know, they do get Brandon Sutter, who I think is potentially a little bit better than Nick Bonino, but higher contract. And is he really a second-line center? I don't think so. They lost Clendening, a good defensive prospect. That's the problem. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs. I don't think they're gonna be very good. Okay, that's just my opinion. I mean, maybe they could somehow squeeze it out if they have some good plays. Their young guns, Lyndon Vay and Bo Horvat, are gonna have to step up big time if they want it to happen. But I don't see them in the playoffs as of right now. But You know, I've been wrong before, so we'll see what happens. At number 24, it's going to be a long video. Buffalo Sabres, they moved from almost last in the league up to 24 this year. Some people are saying they're going to make the playoffs. I don't see it happening based on their defense. Okay, I think the MVP this year, it's hard to say. I think Tyler Ennis has a good year this year. I think he has better than he has in the past. I think he had like 57 points last year or something close to that. I think he's going to get more this year, okay? Zengens Girgensson, though, I still think is the face of the franchise right now. I know they might want it to be Ryan O'Reilly, but is he that good? He still has a court hearing to go to anyway, so that's a big question for them. So they had a good offseason. They trade for Robin Lehner, but at this point, who knows if is Robin Lehner going to be legitimate goalie in his future or this year at all? You have that question. Okay, their defense is what scares me, though. Obviously, they got O'Reilly, but they had traded away Grigorenko, though, so I don't know if that was a brilliant move. You also have Evander Kane, who will be playing this year, as well as Jack Eichel in the top 6, so it could be like Ennis, O'Reilly, Molson, and then or someone like that, and then Kane, Eichel, and whoever. Okay, the point is, you know, that's their team right there. They have a decent top 6 this year, but I just don't see them playoffs because of their defense and the goaltending question. I mean, their defense, they have Zach Bogosian, but is he really a top-tier defenseman? Not really. They don't have a whole lot of great defensemen, unfortunately. And they traded away Zadorov, so it's looking like if they can get their defense up to shape, maybe make a trade, sign Cody Franzen or something to make a push for the playoffs. Okay, I'm not going to say they won't make the playoffs, but I don't think they will. Number 23 on the list, the Boston Bruins. Yes, I have them dropping to 23. Now I got to explain it here. Okay, I like the signing of Biesca. I really do, okay? But you have to realize they lost Milan Lucic on offense. They lost Dougie Hamilton on defense. Like, are they rebuilding or what? Because if they're rebuilding, I mean, they have a lot of old guys still on defense. Seidenberg and Chara, their questions on how good they'll be. It's just, I don't know how they'll be able to pull it off, okay? Bolesky was a good signing. I think I might have said Biesca. I'm an idiot. Bolesky, good signing, but I just don't see this team doing that good. Underperforming Louis Eriksson. I'm not sure how he's going to perform this year, to be honest with you. Now, if they want a chance at the playoffs, let's talk about that. I don't think any of the 3 first-round picks they picked this year are going to play this year. Okay, let's say that. If they want a chance, they need their young guns, Pasternak, Connolly, and Spooner. They need them to perform. Okay, if they don't, then it's definitely no playoffs for Boston. So number 22 on the list, Colorado Avalanche, who is going to be last in the Central, but all the way up at 22. So, I mean, this Central Division, it could be any 5 teams. I think it's going to be 5 from the Central, okay? And it could be any 5 of them because it's the best division in hockey. You know, the ones who did miss the playoffs last year, I think they all had 90 points or 80 points or something like that. That's insane. Colorado, I do think they're better than last year, even though they might be farther down in the standings. I'm not sure what exactly they were last year. So let's talk about what they did. They signed Francois Beauchemin. Like, why? He's a good defenseman. He'll help them out definitely this year. But they have to remember that that's going to be, after next year, that's going to be their 3rd defenseman they have signed. 35 older. They have Haida and they have Stewart. So they're definitely not trying to go young. Yes, they have Zadorov, but I don't know if he'll be ready next year. They have Grigorenko. Don't know if he'll be ready. They signed Blake Como. I have him as the underperformer. He wasn't very good on Columbus when he was on that team, or Dallas. What team was? I don't know what team he was on before Pittsburgh. Columbus or Dallas. He wasn't very good. He goes to Pittsburgh. Yeah, he plays on the line with Evgeny Malkin. Of course he's going to be good. I'll be good next to Evgeny Malkin. So I just don't know about that right there. I'm trying to think. They didn't do a whole lot more other than that. I think the MVP this year would be Gabe Landeskog. The biggest questions I have for them, Varlamov, is he gonna have another slower year? Is he gonna have a good year? Like, what's gonna happen? How is this? Okay, that's question 1. Question 2 is, can McKinnon take that next step? And that's what everyone is hoping for in Colorado, but we don't know. Another question mark is Jerome McGinley with his age. He had a good year, but was that just his first year? He still has 2 years left on his contract. And their defense just isn't cutting it. Tyson Barrie. I know they added Boschman, but it's just not quite there yet, okay? Is that how? I don't want it like that. Do I want it sticking out like that? Hold up. Number 21 on the list. Edmonton. I know, worse, almost worse in the league. No, I don't want it sticking out. Almost worse in the league, going all the way up to 21, because they look like a good team. I mean, I know they could have been a better team than they were this year, but they look like a legitimate good team, okay? You have the big stories they signed, or they draft, rather. Connor McDavid, obviously the best person in the draft pool. He's going to be a top 6 forward next year. No way to get around that, okay? So at that point, you add him to their lineup, who's already a great lineup, on a great young core on offense. So imagine you have Hopkins alongside Hall and maybe Pouliot, okay? And then you have McDavid next to like Eberle and Purcell or something like that. Then all of a sudden, their top 6 isn't the greatest in the world, now is it? But it is good, okay? It is good. I might be missing people. My underperformer is Nail Yakupov. But then, let's not forget, though, they needed defense. They had Andre Sekera. Maybe more money than they wanted to pay for Andre Sekera, okay? But when you need someone on free agency, you might have to pay a little extra. And I like the signing. I think it would definitely help their defense. They have young guys like Nurse, Clefbaum, you know, young guys with a future on defense. I don't know if I want that. So that, I think they're going to be a lot better team. And also Cam Talbot, assuming he's going to be a legitimate starting goaltender, he's going to help out their team quite a bit. So that's what I think about Edmonton. Not playoffs yet, okay, but getting better. Number 20 on this list is the San Jose. I have one frame. What is going on? Okay. Oh, what is going on? Why? Number 20 is the San Jose Sharks. Okay, I don't see them as a playoff team. They could potentially make it somehow, you know. Okay, the MVP is Joe Pavelski. Let's get that underway. This off season was a pretty good one for him. They needed some defensive help. I must just stand here because it's gonna freaking lag every time I move. But they needed some help. On defense, so they added Paul Martin. Obviously scary for San Jose because he is 35 years old. And they signed a 3-year contract. I don't know what to freaking do. I am getting so angry. It's not even funny. I can't even do this power rankings because I'm getting freaking mad. Okay, they signed Paul Martin, 3-year deal. Okay, on offense, they signed Joel Ward, who I think will help the team. But the biggest question mark of all time for this team is Martin Jones capable of being the starting goaltender there, and I don't think he is, which is why they don't make the playoffs. Their defense will be pretty good. You know, you got Burns, Martin, Vlasic, Dylan, Braun. You know, you have a good core there on defense now. Offense, you have the old guys, Marlowe and Thornton. Plus you have Pavelski. Plus you have then you got Hurdle, who hopefully will have a good year, and you have Logan Couture. So their offense looks pretty decent. I am gonna blip out. But I don't think Martin Jones is a starter, so therefore I give the 20th. That's if Martin Jones is even half decent. If he's like worse in the league type deal, then they're gonna be way down on that list. Number 19, the Winnipeg Jets. Oh, here comes the hate from the Jets fans. Jets will not make the playoffs. They will be 6th in the Central, which I said is like the hardest division to be in if you want to make the playoffs, right? I know you made it last year. You guys were all happy. But this year, I don't see you making it, and I'm going to tell you why. I think Chicago, St. Louis, Minnesota get in. Okay. I think Nashville gets in. Now, why would Dallas beat you guys out? Because their offense was good last year, and then they added Sharp to it. Their defense was decent last year. They replaced Daly with a dude who might not be as offensive, but he's very good defensively. And they have guys like Klingberg, Olesiak coming up. Their defense is going to be good. They have 2 starting goalies. Say they split up 40 games each. If they each can go 25 and 15, that is 50 wins. Okay, that might be unrealistic. They can each go, even if they each go like 20 and 20, it's still 40 wins. That's 80 points right there, plus overtime losses. You know, they can easily make the playoffs. This 2 goalie thing could help them out tremendously. So that's why I think Winnipeg's not going to win. Because they lost Frolik, who was a huge part of the team defensively, you know, offensively a bit. He could play anywhere in their lineup. He was a good PK, played on the power play sometimes. Okay, They lost him, plus they lost Yuri Toulouse, who maybe not the best player, but he was a decent part of their offense last year. Lee Stepniak, not the biggest deal that he's gone. Okay. I think the underachievers are the goalies. I don't think either of them, Pavlik or Hutchinson, emerged this season as a starting goalie, unfortunately. I know you guys have youngins like Nikolai Eliers and Kopp and some others that could potentially play next year. Okay, but I just don't see you in the playoffs. Your defense, I mean, you have Buff. Okay, you have Tyler Myers. But your goaltending just isn't there. You lost for a leak in Toulouse. I just see you guys just missing the playoffs. You could be farther and closer than this to the playoffs. Number 18, the Florida Panthers. Who just missed last year. They're going to just miss this year, not because they didn't get any better. Because I see 5 teams in the Metro making it. So that leaves 3 for the Atlantic. Montreal, Tampa Bay. And then you have Ottawa, Florida, and Detroit, who has a good streak going, fighting for the last playoff spot. And I just don't think Florida got it. They're in the worst division for the future. Okay, right now, Central. But for the future, you're going to have 5 good teams in this division. So, you know, it's just, they have some youngsters. Barkov, unfortunately, I don't see him turning into what they were hoping. He only had 30-some points this year, which is better than last year, but he's progressing slowly. You know, if he continues to progress slowly, maybe he will be there. But I just don't see him being as good as they hope. Maybe second-line center. Nick Bukestad, I see him being a first-line center for them. He already is, I'm pretty sure. Of course, they have Yager, which is good for the youngins. Brandon Peary. Oh, this kid could be something. Getting 22 goals and 2 assists last season. What a beast. So they're hoping for big things from him. They have young guys. They have Quentin Howden. They have Grimaldi. They have... can Huberdeau take the next step? I'm not sure. They have Trocheck. As far as defense, it's not quite there yet. Ekblad, a great defenseman. They have young guys, Petrovic, Goodbranson, and Kulikov, who are going to be good in 1 to 2 years, but not this season. They have Campbell, who underperformed last season, will probably underperform this year, getting $7 million, one of the worst contracts in the league. And then you have Roberto Luongo. Can he be a playoff caliber goaltender at his age? Can he take a team to the playoffs if they have good offense and good defense? That's questionable. You know, I think he's good enough. But what are they going to do when they want to make the playoffs next year in 2 years? They can't rely on someone as old as Roberto Luongo. Unfortunately for them. So just not quite making it is them. Number 17, the Dallas Stars, who will, I believe, be into the playoffs. Yeah, Dallas will make the playoffs. At number 17, does that even make any freaking sense? Yes, it does. Okay. Like I said earlier, Dallas gets Patrick Sharp. They lose Garbett, but honestly, who really cares? They have a good grinder. They have Roussel. So Sharp is going to plug right in next to Spezza and Hemsky. So you thought they had a good defense or offense last year. Adding Sharp to the mix, put him on the point in the power play. They're going to be a filthy team on offense. Not to mention that they now have Oduya, who has won a Stanley Cup. He's a little bit older. He has a 2-year contract, which isn't too much, I don't think. You have him slotting into their defense, who he'll probably play alongside of Demers. potentially, maybe. I'm drawing a blank when it comes to their defense, man. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about. The other good defenseman they have on the team will play. Either him or D will play next to Klimberg on the second defensive line. And you have Olesiak and guys like Nemeth, or whatever his name is. Plus you have Ben, Jordy Ben, and Jamie Ben, of course. The MVP will be either Ben or Sagan. Obviously, they're beasts. So now we have number 16, the last one in this video. Number 16, we have the LA Kings back in the playoffs. As a Hawks fan, as much as I hate to say this, they are back in the playoffs, guys. I think, anyway. Now, they added Milan Lucic to their offense.